with weak and ineffective partners in places like Yemen, Nigeria, with Boko Haram, obviously Iraq and Afghanistan, can we realistically hope for anything better than containment of ISIS and Al-Qaeda on the Arabian Peninsula going forward, and in Nigeria too, which is becoming an increasingly serious problem?
I'm glad you asked that question. I'm actually putting together a piece on Boko Haram now that I'll put in time in the next day or two because no one's paying attention to it. We had 2,000 massacred on the Nigeria-Chad border last week that got absolutely no attention. Apparently there were no cartoonists there. It hurts, doesn't it? Need to say these things. I just gave Obama a fair amount of criticism for not showing up in Paris, not sending him to Paris. Much worse than that was President Jonathan from Nigeria showing up in Paris when he has done so little to respond to what has been self-declared as another Islamic state in the north of his country, with elections coming up, and the lack of military response, the lack of domestic focus and capacity. It's been astonishing. There's, as you know, a massive divide north and south in Nigeria. All the resources are in the south. All of the radical Islam and the population in the north. There's no question that in that sort of an environment, containment would be a huge win, a huge win. Now, I think with the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, we can do more than containment, and we are. And I actually think that the U.S. policy on ISIS has not been horrible. I think in this case, people criticized Obama for not having a strategy. I think that if you actually want to have a real team and you're not planning on being in the lead, it behooves you not to tell everyone what the strategy is until you go and talk to people and say, what do you think we should do? Which they did. And as a consequence, they built a coalition that's fairly robust in Iraq. On Syria, But on Iraq, they've done a pretty good job. So much so that the Kurds in the north and the remnant Iraqi government in Baghdad has actually gained some ground back, and they've pushed back ISIS. And ISIS is now having to spend an awful lot of that money that they stole and the weapons they took from the Iraqi government that were American, that fell out of Mosul, and they're having to use them. That's good. That's good. So on balance, I think we can do more than containment with ISIS. I think that containment is the best we can hope for in the near term. We probably won't get there in Nigeria. I think we should not pretend that the European situation is the worst. It's the one we'll pay the most attention to because the economics will matter much more to us. But let us be very clear, in the aftermath of what happened in Paris, the violence against Muslims in the region, they are the ones that are taking 99% of the hit from militant Islam. It's not France. In fact, we saw an al-Qaeda attack in a cafe in Yemen, I believe, the day following the Charlie Hebdo attacks with 60 dead, and I didn't see it covered anywhere in the U.S. We saw another al-Qaeda attack, Nusra, their affiliate in Lebanon, over the weekend, I think, killed another 15 to 20. I mean, these things are happening with insistent regularity. And thus far, there is no real effort at grassroots containment.